Okay, recorded starting, yay. Let's see here. Okay, I'll share my screen again. This is a little bit about me. My name is Rachel Paine, I go by Miss Paine. My email is rpaine, so there are a couple Paines in the district and there's a couple Paines even in the Falmouth High School. So make sure that you are spelling that one correctly. It's okay if you get it wrong. We all talk to each other and can make sure we get the emails where they need to be. My office extension is 4043. So you just call the high school. When the voice starts talking, you dial 4043. Either email or phone are both the best ways to get a hold of me. I am completely fine with both. And then we will also be using Schoology, which it sounds like some of you guys are getting familiar with or will get very familiar with. And we're going to have a group on Schoology that you'll all be added to very shortly, probably in the next week. I'll put this up again at the end, but I'm going to close that for now so that I can see all of you and make sure that I can also see the chat. All right, so we are only going to be here until 7 o'clock at the very latest. I don't want to take up anybody's time here. But I got a couple things to go over, and I'll make sure that we leave time at the end for a question and answer session. So, like I said, my name is Rachel Paine. I've been at Falmouth High School. This is going to be, I want to say, my third year. I started in the middle of a year at one point, so I know what it's like to come into Falmouth and be brand new. I also was a student here way back when, but it looks nothing like it did now. It was all before the construction projects. In addition to me, we have adjustment counselors. So they are also in the building. We've got about 4 of them. They're fabulous. And we have our nurses, our administrative team, who you saw on the meeting earlier, and we have our special education team. So all of these people are going to be rallying around you to support you over the course of your 4 years here at Falmouth High School. If you need anybody other than me, but you don't know their email or you don't know who to reach out for appropriately, just go ahead and give me a call or send me an email. We know that this transition is going to be difficult. We know that, even on a good year, transitioning to a new school can be really tough. So we're here for you, right? We're going to make this work, I promise. We will be coming in, or I'll be coming into your classrooms if you are an in-person student for at least an A or B cohort. You will see me at least once. I'll be coming into your history classrooms, and I'm going to be giving you an agenda, which is really awesome. It's going to help keep you organized. You can also use, your Google Calendar. That's how I've been doing it lately. One way or another, you and I can work together, and we will find a way to keep you organized. But you'll also get to meet me in class, so that's always fun. I'll tell you how to get to guidance right now. Not going to bother telling you that, but it's not too hard to find, which is really good. And my office is kind of front and center, so easy to find me, that's for sure. All of our students, whether you are working from home every day, whether you're coming into the building as a remote student, as a hybrid student, you're going to have a really great caseload. And like Mr. Mack was saying, it's a full caseload. You have classes every single day, every single period, but we also have that really awesome clipper time that he talked a little bit about, where you've got time to get your work done. So this is brand new, and I think it's going to be an awesome addition to our normal schedule, because you're going to have some time to get that homework done during the day and then not have to bring it as much home. So that will be really great. Most importantly, though, is that you take high school seriously in your freshman year. I've had a lot of students come talk to me in their sophomore, junior, or even senior years and say, how come my GPA is so low? How come I've worked so hard these last couple of years, but I just can't bring it up. I can't seem to get my grades up any higher. And sometimes it's because they didn't exactly take high school super seriously their freshman year. So I'm here to tell you now, to quash any rumors that may be going around, that 9th grade counts. Absolutely, it counts. So we understand that this is a learning year for you, but at the same time, I want to see you giving it your all and trying your absolute best. Grades here matter, and they go for what we end up calling credits. So if you pass a class successfully, anything from an A through a D, you get credit for that class. It goes on your transcript, it adds to your GPA or your grade point average, and it all adds up, and we accumulate that by the end of your senior year into a final GPA. So yeah, in short, it's important, very important year. Sorry, I've got some notes here because it's been a long day and I want to make sure I get this all for you guys. Let's see, class expectations. Oh, a lot of people tend to have questions about supplies. So we do not have a supply list as of right now, but those first week or so in your classes, if your teacher does require anything other than your Chromebook or a personal device that you've been using, then they will let you know. Most of your books and materials will be on Schoology or on an online site, so you'll be able to access that no matter where you are in the building or at home. And then you will be able to submit your assignments on Schoology as well. So that's going to be a great site for us this year. Schedules have been completed. I want to say that officially, but we are still, tweaking little bits and pieces. So if something changes and you aren't sure why, just send me an email. However, I do encourage you guys to log into Schoology. Log into Schoology and log into PowerSchool in the next couple of days. Make sure that that all works and take a look at your schedules. And if you have any questions about them, just send me an email. I'm in the office from, I think, 8 to 2, 8 to 2:30, something like that. And I usually work a little bit later. But you can send me an email or give me a call anytime between those times, and it's a good chance I'll respond right away. Otherwise, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But I want to make sure that you guys understand your schedules prior to our first week or so. We know that there's going to be a little bit of finagling, excuse me, a little finagling on the schedules as we make everything work. But for the most part, they should be good. Huge suggestion here, and I want to say this for once and for all, and I'm going to say it a million times as we get through here. Please check your email every single day. It's going to be a lot of emails, especially where we're turning everything in online. There's going to be even more, but you got to weed through them. You got to take a look at what's important. If you don't already know, there's a little star button that you can press right next to the emails that are important, and that way you can come back to just the starred emails. That's really great. So that is a good tool to use in your Falmouth High School email. But one way or another, you need to be checking that every single day so that you can get anything and everything important, because that's how we're going to send a lot of those notifications out. Let's see, what else are we? I think I kind of got through it all here. So I'm going to open it up to you guys. Are there any questions? You can put it right in the chat. I think that's probably going to be the easiest way. No questions? Come on, I didn't explain it that well. If anyone would like to as well, I think you can unmute yourself and ask it there too. So I've got a question here about how to find your cohort. You're going to log into PowerSchool. Make sure that you do that on the computer. It will not show the cohort on the PowerSchool app, unfortunately, but if you log in on the computer, you can take a look. It'll say either A1, A2, B1, B2, full in person or full remote. For the most part, though, it is divvied up by alphabet. So Finn, I would say you're probably most likely going to be B1, but I'd have to double check that. The instructions on how to log into PowerSchool and Schoology are going to be in that PowerPoint that Mr. Mack just showed you. The links are there. The information is also going to be sent out by Ms. Gans, either, I want to say she said tomorrow, so that will be coming out very, very soon. And then there was also a series of emails sent out to you all from the Office of Teaching and Learning, which is in the administration building. They sent one out just this afternoon. And in it, it had a link to the Falmouth High School YouTube page, where all of the videos that they've made are compiled together to show you how to use Schoology and how to use PowerSchool. So I highly recommend taking a look at those over the weekend so that you know how to get into everything that you need to on Monday morning. Great questions so far, guys. I want to remind everybody that you can send me an email if you have a question that you want to ask that you don't necessarily want to ask to everybody. That's completely fine. My email was up before. I'll put it up again in a minute or two here so that you can see that. Great question, Bruce. Yes, I absolutely will help with scholarships. Excuse me. We help with the whole college and career process. So starting in your freshman year, we'll start using another site, and you're not going to bog you down with more titles, but we have another program that we use here in the high school called Naviance, that we start off in freshman year. We start looking at some career readiness type stuff, and then building that up by the time we're juniors and seniors into the college and career searching. So we can start looking for a best fit on a college, a best fit on a trade program, a best fit for a career, and then move right into the scholarship. So primarily scholarships are going to be in your junior or senior year, mostly even in your senior year. But yes, that is absolutely a part of my job. Don't be shy. Any questions at all? I am here. Yes, I will check my email after this. Probably only for about a half an hour, so you can send it kind of soon. Otherwise, I will be in the office tomorrow morning, and I will be answering any emails that I find there in the morning. Yes, Anthony, and MAP will be available for all students. It's going to be part of what we hand you when you first walk in. And I have a feeling we're going to get that digitally too, so that you can take a look at it early. I know that right now there's a whole stack of them printed that I saw. So I know that those will be getting out to you guys. And don't worry, I walked the hallways for the first time recently and actually followed a schedule and followed the footprint of the building with the arrows, and it was definitely different. You know, I was definitely getting used to it. So we understand that if even the teachers are finding that to be difficult and having to sort of like reconfigure our brain, then we know that that will for you. So the first week or two, I'm sure your teachers are going to be very flexible around being late, as long as it's, you know, within a minute or two. You know, you've got good, honest, like I just got lost, I'm just trying to find the classroom. Absolutely, we're going to be very flexible with you. The best suggestion I can give you on that, well, two suggestions. One is to ask anybody around you and ask them where your teacher by name is, because we don't all necessarily know the room numbers, but we know where teachers are in their building. And the other thing you can do is to learn the art on the wall. The art all kind of has to do with the classrooms that are around it. So you'll know you're in the math wing when you start seeing art on the wall that's all sort of geometric patterns. You know you're in the history area when you see a big painting of Lincoln. You know that you're in the English area, the English zone, when you see an Edgar Allan Poe painting. Great question about clubs and groups. As far as I know, clubs and groups have been allowed. They're going to look different. They're obviously going to be done primarily through Schoology, through virtual means. But we were told today that if teachers are still planning on running their group, it can run. I do not at the moment have a list of the groups and the clubs that will be running. So I'm sure that will be forthcoming. But as of right now, we did get the okay to actually have groups and clubs. Good question, Sophia. Not all of the days are half days, just those first 2 weeks when we're getting everybody used to the building. So when you're doing the A1s, the A2s, the B1s, and the B2s, those are all half days. And then when we start in on October 13th, that's going to be their first week of full day weeks. Great questions, guys. How long will we do remote learning for? I wish I had an answer. I'm so sorry. We will do remote learning as long as the state says that we have to continue. I want more than anything else to have you all in the building, to get to know you all, to have school like we're used to. Unfortunately, that's just not going to happen right now, and it's completely out of our hands. So we're making the best of a bad situation, and as soon as the guidance says that we can go back to normal, we absolutely will. Cohorts A and B, cohorts A1 and A2 will go back together as soon as the first 2 weeks are done. So just that little calendar that Mr. Mack showed you, which is going to get sent out again, it's going to be split about 25% of the school. So all the A1s on those 2 days, a remote Wednesday, all the A2s for the next 2 days, and then the weekend, the following week follows the same pattern, but for the Bs. And then we go back to a full week of all of the A's, regardless of A1 or A2. I hear you, Jack. I hear you on not using lockers with lots of heavy books, but I think that this year, especially because so many of our friends are going to be working fully remote or not on the same cohort as you, there's going to be a lot less carrying of books happening. So primarily it would be smaller books like your English books, which are, you know, just a soft cover, smaller soft cover book. But I have a feeling those big books are going to be something that you can bring at home. If they even give you one, you're going to bring it home and leave it at home. And then if you don't need the physical copy of the book, you'll have it access to it digitally. Yes, correct, Emily. To Sophia's question about sports, as far as we've been told, all the sports will run at some point. They may not run during their normal season. For example, football is not running until the spring, but we've just moved them around to make it safer and to make everything work a little bit better. So if you want to check the athletics website on the Falmouth Public Schools page, click on athletics, you'll see the current schedules for when all of the sports are slated to happen. We've got about 10 more minutes. If anybody has any other questions, I am here. I'll keep this open. You guys are asking really great questions, so. Great question. Yes, we do need to wear gym appropriate clothing on gym days. So the days that you're going to have your gym scheduled, now this, obviously the first week, don't worry about it because you're at home. Your teachers will explain this to you, but when you have a PE class, you will only have it either on Mondays and Thursdays or on Tuesdays and Fridays once we get to our normal weekly schedule. And your teacher will explain to you that you just need to be dressed appropriate for gyms. You need to have sneakers on, you need to have clothing that you can run around in, but they will not be using the locker rooms this year. That's actually a really great point. Thank you for bringing that up. There's a question of, can we visit the school before going in on the first day? I'm assuming that's what you meant. Unfortunately, no. If there's a special circumstance and you want to talk to me about that privately, you can send me an email, you can give me a phone call. But right now, we've only been having students either come to the door just to pick things up, or we've been talking over emails or phones. Sorry about that. Good question, Finn, about the bus. There, as far as I've been told, no, I'm not the bus transportation person. However, I've been told that yes, everyone is going to be a single person to a seat on the bus, but that, you know, there will be people in the seats around you, so that it's not like it's just you riding on a bus with nobody else. It's just going to be a lot more spread out than you're used to. Yes, Emily, we do need to stay 6 feet apart in the hallways. So there's going to be lots of signage as you walk around the building with these arrows on the floor. And we are asking students to walk still socially distanced within the hallways. So that's why they're all one direction. You're not going to be passing past anybody on the other side. And you're supposed to be keeping 6 feet between you as you walk yourself to class. There will be teachers in the hallway, as well as Mr. Max said, those upperclassmen helping kids out, helping everybody find the classrooms that you need. So there, you may be walking up to them and asking a quick question and then moving along from there. So it won't be like you're just alone in the hallway. Anthony, great question. I don't have the answer to that though. So he's asking how gym's going to work when you're at home, when you're remote. Your teacher will go over that in your first day of PE class. And I should mention that not every 9th grader has PE in first semester. You may have it in second semester. So you'll see sort of how that's going to work out with your schedule, what spring or fall when you have it. And then once you do meet with your teacher, they will go over their expectations for the either remote weeks when you're not there, or if you're a full remote student, they'll go over what the expectations are there. We've got about 5 minutes left. Plenty of time for some more questions. I'm so excited to meet all of you guys. When are we getting the materials list? Is that when, I think I mentioned that earlier on a supplies list. So right now we don't have anything official, but your teachers in the first week or so will let you know if there's anything that you need other than your Chromebook or your personal computer that you'll be using for class. Primarily, you're going to be using the Chromebook and doing all of your work on Schoology. So if you're the kind of person who likes to take notes, maybe prepare yourself and have a notebook and pens. But other than that, I think most of what you're going to need is going to be on the computer, but your teachers will go over that for sure. And no, you do not need to bring in your own hand sanitizer. We have sanitizer stations all over the building. I feel like I could practically reach from one hand sanitizer station to the other one. They are everywhere. So no, you are not responsible for bringing your own. If you would like to have your own in your pocket or in your bag, that's completely fine. However, we have plenty in the building. It's in every single classroom. It's all along the hallways. It's anywhere that you can possibly imagine. And no, you will not be eating lunch in your classrooms. You will be eating in the cafeteria. But like Mr. Mack said, it is assigned seating in the cafeteria. So don't worry about it. You will find out where your seats are on your first day in the building. But we will have numbered, I think that's numbered desks. And that way you'll know which seat is yours. But the nice thing is they all face out the window. So you've got a nice view at least. It's a little better than my view eating in my office. Finn's question on, will we need to wear the gym dress code at home? You know what, that's a great question for your PE teacher. I can imagine they don't want you wearing flip-flops if you're going to be doing some running exercises, so I'm sure there is something there that they'll be able to answer for you. Yes, the seating at lunch will be the same. That was a good question. So it's going to be the same every day. That's so that we can just make sure that everyone is sitting where they're supposed to be. We can trace that if we needed to, and we knew you know, we know that everyone's going to be within that, outside of that 6 foot range while you have your masks off to eat. Sophia's asking about using your phone. Now this is a tricky question. So yes, you could have phones in the building, a lot more free than in Lawrence. However, you are not supposed to be using your phone during class. So you can listen to music or text with your friends at lunch, or possibly if your teacher gives you guys like a phone break during clipper time. However, you do not need to, you should not be having them out in class, but yes, you can have them in your pocket. Oh, excuse me, I have the hiccups. You can have them in your pocket, or you can have them in your backpack during the day to use in the hallways or in your lunch period. And a question about, can we wear whatever to school? So there is a portion of the student handbook that talks about appropriate clothing for school. However, there is no dress uniform. So we need to have no exposed midriffs, no inappropriate slogans or pictures on the clothing. You know, you need to wear sensible shoes. You certainly don't want to wear anything that you're going to trip over in, or, but primarily it's just dress as if you were, you know, going to be wearing something appropriate. You know, we don't want anything extreme. Yes, Colin, the water bottle refill stations are open. The only part that is closed is the bubbler itself. So, you know, you can't lean over and drink just from the fountain, but if you bring in a water bottle of your own, one of those reusable bottles, you can fill it up as many times as you need to in the hallway filling stations. And we have at least, I want to say at least 2 on every floor, which is really helpful. Christian, good question about bringing lunch to school. So you can bring lunch in a lunch box, you know, have that with you all day and then eat it at lunch. And then if you buy lunch at school, I believe lunches are going to be in a bagged lunch. So everything is going to be already put in the bag for you, and you just pick it up off the table as you go to your seat. Great questions, guys. All right, 1 minute left. Go ahead and ask your last questions here. And if I don't get to everything, or if you feel like there's a question you wanted to ask, but you didn't feel like putting it in the chat, or you are on a phone, I know sometimes being on the phone for Zoom is a little bit tougher to be on the chat, so you can always email me your questions. Colin is asking about a peanut-free school. Yes, that is why it is super important for you to read the COVID-19 guidebook. That is a new thing this year. I am a little sad because I eat peanut butter every day, but it is a peanut-free school. It's a nut-free school, actually, in its entirety. So please check out the COVID-19 guidebook that Mr. Mack will send out the link for, and it has also already been sent out to you by Ms. Gans a couple weeks ago. So if you want to search for that. There's a question about testing in school. I think, are you asking like a normal, taking a math test in the building? As far as I know, if that's what you're asking, as far as I know, yes, nothing is changing in that regard. However, I'm not a classroom teacher, so it may be different from classroom to classroom. So it's a good one for asking your teachers next week. And can we buy lunch? Yes. I don't know the exact procedures, but I do know that lunch is available for any student who wants it. And then a question about how many kids in the classrooms. It's really going to depend on the enrollment of your class. I think most of the classes that I've seen, the largest amount of students in the room is about 10 to 12 people. There might be bigger rooms. I just haven't visited those yet. But not all of the classrooms have all of, we'll have all those seats taken. Sometimes there are fewer kids because there are fewer on the A group or fewer on the B group, and it sort of depends on the space. I think your teacher will give you an idea of who to expect or how many to expect in your classroom when they meet with you guys next week. And do we have to do a book report on the summer reading list? You know what, I don't entirely remember what the project is, but I do think it has something to do with journals. So on our website, there's all the information you need for your summer reading list. And that's a great segue, a great reminder here to let everyone know that you do need to finish up those books if you have not already done so. And you're going to go right on to the falmouth.k12.ma.us website, and you can just hit in the search bar summer reading, and all of the information should pop up. All right, last question here. I'll take this last one from Emily. How many classes on Zoom a day? That's a great question, and I don't know. Again, it's really going to depend on your teachers. So I think on a normal week where you have your A, B, and C blocks, the most you could ever have is 4 because there are no more than 4 classes in a day. However, on the half days and on the remote weeks, it could be all of your classes or it could be none of your classes. It really depends on what your teacher is deciding to do. You guys have been awesome. You were super engaging, really great questions. This has been fantastic, and I cannot tell you how excited this makes me for my freshman class. I am so excited to see all of you guys. So I will save the chat here and make sure that everything that it was talked about is answered, just in case I missed some on here. Hopefully I didn't. But other than that, yeah, I'm gonna end this session. You guys have been phenomenal. And feel free to email me if you need it. Oh, I'm going to pull up my screen one more time. There's my email address again if you guys need it. But thanks so much. You're all free to go. Have a great night.